Hello and welcome back to the Call of Cthulhu, Lone Against the Flames. We are taking the role of Ernest McCulloch, who is meant to be a professor but got stuck in a small town of Emberhead, and now things are getting somewhat weird. We met a guy whose face was halfway burned, halfway melted, and we ended just before going off to meet him and to essentially be like, what's the deal with this festival that happens once a year where you burn a statuette of something? So, I remember that it was post number 200. Arbogast is not at the appointed meeting place. You give him 10 minutes, but he doesn't show. You curse the old crank and head back towards May's house. Psst. A hand snakes from a doorway and grabs your arm. You jump at the sight of that half-face glimpsed in starlight. "One of them's near," he whispers. "Watching. Come with me." Arbogast leads you across the thoroughfares, slipping between houses. The middle structure looms at the end of the street. "Silent now," he says, "but the beacon will come alive tomorrow night." He ushers you into a little alcove behind the village school. Arbogast glances behind you, then sits down. Again, you feel uncomfortable in proximity to that scarred visage. One melted eyelid lifts. "You don't have long. Understand this. I was the conduit, the interpreter. Before that fool, Winters and his fancy words. The things which come to Emberhead care not for words. Those idiots think this is a ritual of sacrifice." He spits on the grass. It's a ritual of control. They know the words, but they do not comprehend the forces they call. He sniffs and sits back. "No. You have no time for more questions. I will teach you how to end it, in the moment when all is lost. You can return this hill to the earth, to the death that came 40 years ago. I've tried it myself, but..." His head sags. "I no longer have the concentration. The chant is simple. I can teach you, but you must perform it with the clarity of mind that I have lacked for years." Well, Arbogast, weird as he is, has not been hostile in any way. Nor has he been wrong about any of his predictions and ideas. So I think I will learn this strange chant. Okay. You feel very dislocated from reality as you sit on top of a cliff top behind a school at night, learning a chant by rote from a madman. Arbogast is careful to teach you it in sections. He glances into the sky. "Won't work out right now. Cloud covering the star." But he still takes care not to pronounce the whole thing at once. It has a rhythmic beginning and various elaborations, but the core passage is repeated 3 times. "Lui la nafa chkua from lahout gaha nafnagen la Cthulaka." In time, Arbogast listens to your recital and nods. "Remember every sound, but never speak it if you have plans left on this earth." You have discovered a secret. If your situation ever becomes desperate enough to try Arbogast's ritual, the text will offer you the option to chant. At that point, you want to try it, add 10 to your current entry number and go to that new entry. Arbogast leans back. It'll make you one with the living. A black shape lunges from the dark. It wraps an arm around Arbogast's throat and drags him backwards out of the alcove. He grabs at the arm, kicking empty air. You see the gleam of a long blade in the moonlight. Dodge roll. That's a straight up 20. That is not great. But, well, we might as well try it. Well, yeah, that was expected. Something smashes you on the temple. You reel back. You hear Arbogast yell and see the knife flash. 1, 2, 3 times. Its shiny surface darkening with blood. Something strikes you again. As you sink, flames leap from the ground, painting the night with infernal color. They pick out 3 dark figures. So 1d6 damage. Oof. So that would be 8. Ow! You awake with a jolt, wrestling the blankets, ready for attack. The Ledbetter guest room is quiet, painted with morning light. There's nobody here but you. You release the blankets and wait for your head to stop hammering. The Ledbetter kitchen is empty, although bread and eggs have been laid out for your breakfast. There's a note from May explaining that she has taken Ruth out for a few hours. If you were involved in a fight in a village the last night and want to investigate the aftermath. Was this a fight? It seemed very one-sided. I would call it an assault, not a fight, because all I did was to attempt to dodge and fail at it. I guess it's a fight. Sure, let's go and take a look. I don't know what is like. Is that the definition of a fight? Maybe. You feel skittish as you You feel skittish as you approach the spot where you and Arbogast were attacked. Your memory of the encounter is shaky, but you remember 1 or 2 vivid images. At first you think there's nothing to see, no discarded weapons or figures lying unconscious, but upon closer examination you find sticky, congealed patches and blackened lines in the grass. If the village had a police station, you could go there, but something tells you events have gone beyond that. Okay, so that also led to 78. You take a quiet circuit of the village, pausing in unobtrusive places to watch the villagers. It's rather busy for this time in the morning. Yawning locals stream back and forward along the roads, carrying bundles of split logs to the site of what you've heard referred to as the beacon. You see 2 figures already up on its superstructure, arranging the wood. The festival bonfire will be most impressive. But do you intend to stay and see it? You suspect by now that something is amiss here. While the villagers are distracted, you may do some illicit investigation, or you may simply leave town without looking back. So, we already have a pretty good idea that just leaving town is not an option. May Ledbetter's bedroom. Ledbetter's bedroom. That's surprisingly difficult to say fast. What would I possibly obtain from either of these? So the last option is out of the question. That's not gonna happen. Maybe I'll learn something from trying. I don't think so. Spy on the activity at the beacon. That seemed risky, as my stealth isn't great, and there's definitely going to be a lot of people there because people are going to bring wood to the structure more or less constantly. Village Hall is... We know that is locked in the morning and only opens up in the afternoon. At least from what we have gathered. And given our previous perusal, I don't honestly believe that there is much to glean from that. So 29 is too risky. 7 is out of the picture. 126 probably won't yield anything and just risk getting us in hot water. Well, all of these, given that it's an illicit investigation, are going to be hot water if they don't. Take a look at the artisan's courtyard. That's an oddly specific place. We do know that May Ledbetter is not at home, which means that her bedroom, given that the only other person that lives in the Ledbetter household besides May is Ruth, and May and Ruth are together, if we are to believe the note that's left for us. I think May Ledbetter's room, creepy as it is, might be the safest option. So let's try that. Ooh. Despite her hospitality, you do not trust May Ledbetter. You return to her house quite openly. Where else would you go? Inside, the dwelling is still empty. You rap on the bedroom door and wait. Silence. You ease it open. The Ledbetter bedroom is marked in contrast to your own. Neat space. Dirty clothes are piled about the floor. On a rough quilt lie school books and cheap novels. You notice a raggedy old doll discarded down the side of the bed. That's a fail. You go through the Ledbetter's drawers. The only item of interest you find is a wedding photograph. May's husband was a wiry man with a square chin. Despite the formality of the pose, you can see the affection between them. You feel a pang of guilt at your intrusion. Also, May might return at any time. If you wish to push the spot hidden roll, make it a roll again. Yeah, why not? That's why. A shadow falls across you. So, May Ledbetter says, you know. You try to get to your feet. A mob of villagers spills from behind her and surrounds you. You struggle, but you cannot resist the sheer weight of their numbers. You are quickly overpowered. Ooh, yeah. The fading light from a narrow window tells you afternoon is giving way to evening. Your hands are shackled behind your back, so you cannot even lie down on the rough bed. A woman you have not seen before comes in. Her face is wrinkled and her eyes dull. They do not meet yours, but she puts a cup to your lips. Well, given that we have the chant as sort of a makeshift kind of device for solving such issues, I'm going to go and drink it. Okay. You drink from the cup. It holds cool, refreshing water which you gulp down. When it is empty, she turns to leave. You speak to her, but she steps outside and closes the door. Later, you try yelling. Your voice must be audible outside, but it has no effect. It seems the entire village is involved. Yeah, Arbogast kind of told us so. As the light fades outside, your little prison becomes dark. Oh, that was not what I intended to close down, but we can open it again with ease. Oop. Let's go like this for the time being. As the light fades outside, your little prison becomes dark. You can hear much activity around the building. Occasionally an orange glow passes the window. The only comfortable position in the shackles seems to be to sit against the end of the bed with your arms hanging behind you. You need to concentrate and come up with a plan. There is clearly no escape from your bonds. You do not know exactly what your captors want from you, but you cannot ignore the fact that they've spent the entire day constructing a massive bonfire. Yeah, that was the thing about the fire cult that I basically mentioned last time. The door scrapes, wrenching you back into the moment. Orange light spills into the house from blazing torches held at a threshold. Two large villagers step in and grab you. At least you assume they're villagers. They wear heavy black cloaks, and their faces and hands are painted entirely black, save only for a red triangle centered on their left eye. You try to drag your legs, but they reach under your arms and lift you bodily from the bed. Outside, it seems the whole village has congregated to see you. Every single one has a blackened face with a red triangle motif. Torches sputter and spill fire. You struggle, but you can see that physical resistance is hopeless. You are marched to the central street and turned to face the beacon. The procession down the approach is slow and formal, save when you sense weakness and yank at your captors. A chill touches you when you see three human shapes carried off ahead of you, draped in red cloth. The beacon looms larger and larger, its dreadful silhouette a black triangle pointing to the stars. A low drone begins amongst the cloaked figures. Unbidden, the word mourners comes to mind. Smoke from their torches makes you cough. You feel heat on your face. As you reach the cleared area around the beacon, three dancers break from the pack. Young girls swinging balls of fire in spectacular arcs, drawing circles in the night air. One by one they draw closer to you and touch your forehead with sooty fingers. Each kisses you 3 times, one on the left cheek, one on the right cheek, then forehead. Then they whisper in your ear. The smell of kerosene fills your nostrils. Make an app roll? What's an app? APP? What is APP? Appraise? No, that don't seem right. APP? What exactly is APP? Is it any of... Oh, appearance, right. Okay, so just... Well, I'd say just below 50, but... Well, my rolls have been in the higher end, so... Let's try it Yep, figures. Okay. Through your sacrifice, the village will be reborn. That's the first answer. You pass from earth to air for all our sakes, says the second. Through incandescence may you find rapture, says the third. The dance weaves off and disappears behind the buildings. As you arrive beneath the beacon, 10 villagers close in on you. Working with surprising coordination, they immobilize you and lift you up the blackened iron stairs to the raised platform. You cannot help but shiver at the sight of the central framework, twisted from past blazes, and what you can now clearly see to be fastening points for chain. None of the eyes meet yours as they lash you into the metal. The village sings now, something rhythmic and ancient carved from old syllables. A second group ascends to the beacon, carrying the 3 red-draped bodies. With reverence, they arrange their burdens in a triangle around your feet. Then they withdraw, leaving you alone with the dead, shin deep in a sea of kindling. Yup. A bit cruder than I had anticipated it, but yeah, that gets the job done. It seems the entire village is gathered around the beacon to watch you burn. Behind the face paint, you recognize May Ledbetter, and yes, that is Silas, the coach driver, standing at her side. The audacity and scale of the deception staggers you. A man steps up on a dais and raises his hand with quiet authority. The frame of his spectacles obscure the red triangle on his face. So we draw here together again on this night as we do each year, and we give our thanks to the one who will preserve the village against the fire of the void. You will be taken by the ones from above in our stead. Your death will bring life to our streets and bounty to our fields. It'll safeguard our children and our elders alike for another year. We salute you. He bows his head. All around the beacon bearers step forward and lift their torches to the edge of the raised platform. A ring of tiny flames flicker up around the perimeter. As they wink, the singing of the villagers drops into an unearthly rhythm. Oh. Well, I mean, it's worth a shot, isn't it? Maybe it isn't, but I'm gonna give it a try. Hard strength. So that means I have to get below 25. Ooh. That's, I mean, it isn't great. So why is there a toggle here? If there isn't a way to roll die from, like, clicking stuff. At least not what I can see. Okay. Skills. So less than 25. Well, oh boy. Well, to 40 it is then. 76, 77, and 74. The flames snake across the kindling, catching and rising. Smoke rises and it becomes difficult to see the villagers. The 3 bodies surrounding you catch fire, blazing with sooty red flames. You begin to cough as smoke enters your lungs and fight down the urge to panic. If you have learned a strange chant and wish to try it, this is the moment. Otherwise go to 65. So it was plus 10. So that means 50. There it is, okay. The flames draw closer as you bring Arbogast's chant to mind. It is hard to clear your head as the heat grows beneath your feet. You cough and sputter, but you sustain the words. Finally, you reach the key passage, and even as your clothes catch fire, you yell for the third time. Fnui mwea nafen tukwa fumalhu nga nuaf dagen la kuthuga. I don't know if that's right or not. Oh! The swirling tongues around of fire around you stop in mid-air. The people around the beacon freeze, their black-painted faces bleached and stripped, as a second sun opens in the air above Emberhead. In an instant, the people, the village, the hill, all are consumed, incinerated by impossible proximity to sheer combustion, the essence of fire. Though your body is bound to the beacon, your being is freed. As a spark, you raise into space, catapulted through the vastness of the void. The stars burn past you with incomprehensible velocity. And then you're home. Forever you will dwell here at Formalhold, where the flames ripple and flow through immense spaces to the rhythms of the universe, where planets themselves move and tilt through unutterable wheels of fire, bound to the clockwork chaos of the living flame. And among the flames, you will dance. You have single-handedly destroyed a section of New Hampshire about 16 miles in diameter. This also killed you. The end. Okay, So basically, I could go back and try for another ending. I'm not gonna do that, at least not on camera, because that was literally the whole point of this. It was to try out Call of Cthulhu for myself, as in, how will I get introduced to this? I could have watched someone played it, but I tend to find that not all watching parties like YouTube, Twitch, or other live streams are necessarily beginner friendly. And I would like to have this served, at a pace where I could basically be like, we're gonna try this out and see how it goes. Did it go terribly? Yes. There was a lot of roles that I failed, and as a result, I did stop the cult by basically incinerating a couple of hectares of land. This was fun. I can definitely see myself playing Call of Cthulhu with people in the future. Obviously, that's going to be a little different than just me reading the story, as there will be, well, if you're negatively inclined, there will be more people that can fail rolls, which is, that's bad. But on the uptake, there are also multiple people that can succeed in rolls, and, well, if it comes to taking a bullet, you're not the only target, so to say. Plus, while the 1920s are not exactly the sort of time period that interests me the most, it certainly is a time period that I think I am able to roleplay into. Especially if the others in the group, and potentially the keeper, is also into it. I'm totally fine with just going normal voice, normal acting for it. But I will definitely say this has been an interesting entry into Call of Cthulhu. There were some times where I thought that maybe did I overthink things? Possibly, but I think that's part of the game. Could I have made better choices if I had someone to spitball with? Definitely. This was my idea of playing a character and basically attempting to play it safe. And it didn't go well. That's largely due to how my roles fared. So I think, just for the sake of it, so this would be the same, yeah, so if it had been like the last one, the next to last penultimate slide or story bit was to chant, or wait, actually we know where it is. It was 40, wasn't it? So let's try and go to 65 and see what happens if we just let the flames consume us. Ooh. Flames lick at your legs. Your eyes water. You are shrouded in smoke. It might be your imagination, but you think you can feel a slight give in the chain. You throw yourself against them, giving no thought as to how they will bite into your wrist. Okay, so there is a chance here that I can die. If I roll can I actually die from this? No, I cannot. Okay, you can go back for the time being. And so can you. So 1d6 points of fire damage. Okay. Then a strength roll. My strength is 50. It's a regular roll. So how much above 50 is this going to be? That much. The chains give a little more. You feel that you could overcome them if you only had a little more time. But as you feel your flesh of your legs char, the fire spreads up your jacket and licks at your face. And you know that you have run out of time. You have burned to death in the beacon. Why not try again? By making different choices, you may be able to escape or outwit the people of Emberhead. Okay, so what would have happened if I succeeded? The desperation lends you strength, and you yank at what you guess to be a weak point in the chain. It breaks. You throw the chain off, stumbling across one of the red-shrouded corpses, heading away from the watching villagers. You cough, your hair and eyebrows smolder. Can I survive this? I cannot. Oh, I can. Just barely. Okay. You leap from the conflagration on the far side of the beacon. Your heart lurches momentarily at the sight of the sheer drop beneath you. But you land a few inches short of the edge. You roll to extinguish your burning clothes. Your lungs feel singed. Everything hurts. The chant of the villagers gathers in intensity. You peer around the beacon. They don't seem to have noticed your absence amidst the billowing smoke. Most of them are staring into the sky. You crawl as rapidly as you can for cover on the edge of the nearest building. With the villagers assembled at the beacon, the streets are empty and you are able to pad away from the blaze. You must get out of town before they finish. The chanting seems to accelerate as you round the corner of the southern road. Here, parked against the general store, you have your first piece of luck since reaching Emberhead. A bicycle. You learned what to ride one of these back in Providence. You settle into the saddle. Your burned flesh protests at the contact. So I don't think this would work as well, but let's keep this one up and basically see where it goes. So first off, 168. Okay, so that leads to this as well. After a quick glance around to be sure you are unobserved, you look back along the avenue. The entire village is intent upon the beacon. The chanting reaches a new fevered pitch. You cannot say exactly why, but you get the impression something is wrong. The chant begins to break and the villagers sway. Then, thoom! Something incandescent thunders into the crowd in front of the beacon, leaving a fiery trail in your vision. You feel the ground shudder beneath the bicycle. Doom! Another strikes nearby, scattering sparks. Now the chant falters and gives way to screams. Fire skims the buildings facing the beacons. Smoke rolls through the street. A woman staggers towards you, wailing. Her arm is on fire. She beats it against the wall. Boom! Another strike, out of your sight, towards the village hall. It's time to go. Ooh. It takes a moment to recapture the skill of riding the bicycle, but after your first turn to the east, there's a long downhill out of Emberhead. You hear screams and crackles above you, but concentrate on balancing and working the pedal in your weakened state. You've had too many hopes dashed in this abomination of a village. You keep your head down and ride away. 20 minutes later, with no sign of pursuit, you stop for a breather at the top of a hill. You can see Emberhead rise in the distance. The entire village appears to be ablaze. The dark column of smoke above it will be visible for many miles, but if the village is as isolated as it seems, help is unlikely to arrive in time. You watch the place burn for 5 minutes. Then you mount your bicycle again and ride towards civilization and dawn. Congratulations, you have survived this adventure. You may keep your investigator sheet and use it in another Call of Cthulhu scenario. If you have check marked the small box beside any skill, you have a chance to improve them through experience. The end. Okay, that's a little more satisfying. I think it makes sense that I did die and did invoke some kind of elder god to basically be like, yo dog, some fire here please, because I'm about to burn, and I don't want to burn on their terms, I want to burn on my own terms, so fire from the sky, please? Now I don't, so as I said in the first bit, the introduction bit, I don't know much about the Cthulhu mythos. The Formalhaut place I have heard of a couple of times. I don't know if it's sort of resembling a, not exactly a paradise or something akin to that, but more like, perhaps more like a non-hostile, or at least less hostile version of Muspelheim from Norse mythology, so essentially a realm of fire in space, which is a whole different kind of can of worms. Anyway, I have definitely been having fun, and I have definitely enjoyed this little soiree into Call of Cthulhu. I have also been sort of inspired, so I may look for more solo adventures here on Roll20 with different systems, because if they are like this as an introductory beginner solo adventure, then the system shouldn't matter as much. It would essentially allow you to go through such stories. And I like stories. stories are a very big thing for me in terms of interest. So I think what I will do is I will certainly look for more. I can't promise when they will be made, as I still have quite a few Elder Scrolls Online videos, not just to edit but also to record in the hopefully coming future. But I'm certainly intrigued on making more of these because it's quite easy for me to do so. I have a webcam, I have multiple options for microphone. I think what I will prefer to do is use my tripod rather than my headset. It's a little more comfortable because, you know, the headset is quite heavy, and after like 2 hours, as the second video was, at least before I edited it down a bit, that's gonna get really straining on my neck. Like half an hour, that's fine, I can do that. But 2 hours, yeah, my neck is basically going to be very, very sore, and that's probably not a great thing. So yeah, more videos like this. Maybe, perhaps not with webcam. I wanted to include webcam for this one because my reactions to things, I felt that it deserved to be genuine and it deserved to be part of the experience. So this is my first time playing Call of Cthulhu. What does it look like on my face? So yeah, I mean, if you have suggestions and happen to know of any solo adventures that exist on Roll20, I'll be more than happy to look into it. I can't say for certain when I will record it, but I'll definitely be looking into it. For now, I'm signing off until the next video. So, until then, take care.